What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. Are Mauricio and DJ Envy about to go down for real estate fraud? We got to talk about it. And how do Eve and Portia randomly tie into these stories? Yo, we got a lot to discuss. Like the video as the intro plays, because we got a lot to get into.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense, boo.
Make it make sense. That's all. 1 and 1 got to equal 2.
Ooh.
Make it make sense.
Do your intro.
Make it make sense.
Big Mims. Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Don't you snatch that from her. Don't do that again. Yeah, knock it down. Tear it up. Yep, and step on it.
Yep, and step on it. Okay. Let's start with Mauricio, because this story is crazy, and we're going to get into all of the craziness. Let's start here. Now, everything is alleged and in my opinion. However, I thought that there was a lot of press coming out about Mauricio that didn't necessarily make sense to me, like Mauricio doing Dancing with the Stars. I know he has his own show now, but it just was not like clicking. Mauricio on Dancing with the Stars, his wife allegedly now being a lesbian. There's a lot of crazy allegations going on, and you very, very, very rarely heard too much about them that was not like positive press that they could spin. However, now knowing what I know now about this lawsuit coming back to bite him, because he thought he had settled all this, but let's get into it. It says Kyle Richards' estranged husband Mauricio Umansky accused of failing to turn over text in court war over $32 million mansion sale. So we had heard about this. It was allegedly settled several years ago, quietly, of course. It says Kyle Richards' estranged real estate husband allegedly defrauded the U.S. government when he purchased a California mansion he was assigned to sell. Now, again, you're thinking this isn't new. It is new, guys. Mauricio had thought everything was signed, sealed, and delivered, quietly settled. Always maintained his innocence, but quietly settled. Now somebody else is suing him because new stuff has come out. It says the bombshell allegations against Mauricio Umansky were unearthed in a lawsuit that accused him of bamboozling an investor and his real estate agent by quietly selling the Malibu spread to himself and a partner, who then resold the home a year later for a $37 million profit. Now we know how Kyle can have $1 million in Birkins. The prospective buyer, Sam Hakim, filed a motion seeking to force Umansky to hand over telltale text message exchanges with his co-buyer, Mauricio Oberfield, detailing the money-making real estate scheme that unfolded between 2016 and 2017. Now, if you don't know about this house, let me refresh your memory. This house is nothing to play with. By rich people standards, this house is huge, right? 4-course golf course on the property, sitting on a cliff in Malibu. The house was insane. They even, if you want to actually get better pics of the house, you can watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where it was featured. That's the view. Insane house. We'll get into that a little bit later. But if you want to see it, it was featured on season 7, episode 9 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It said the motion is prompted by the fact that over the last several years, Umansky has stated he has no responsive messages after 2016. Hakim's renowned attorney, Alan D. Hurdy, stated in a recent court document obtained by Radar Online. However, his cohort, Mauricio Oberfield, made a recent production that contains messages with Umansky after July of 2016, He had indeed dozens of other messages that Umansky withheld from production for 3 years and finally produced last October, helped to establish a prima facie finding by the court that he had defrauded the seller and United States government. So what are they talking about? Basically, where do I want to start? Because it starts getting a little juicy around here. Basically, the man who bought the house in 2006 was this man. We're going to call him Teodoro. He was or is a dictator's son. He bought the house in cash. At the time, he was dating Eve the rapper. I told you, random. But yes, Eve dated this man from 2003 to 2006. He bought that mega mansion, $35 million in cash, along with Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket. Like, when you are a dictator's son and you have nothing but money, you can do things like buy Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket, along with, I think it was the number 6 real estate purchase in the United States the year that he bought it. Right? So y'all know Kathy is over there laughing her ass because something just happened to Mauricio. People finding out about Mauricio. Not so fast, Kathy. It was your husband who sold it to him in the first place. But we're going to get all into that. And we're going to get into him in a minute. Basically, what Mauricio did was, allegedly, they came to him and said, we need you to sell this house. The proceeds are going to go, $10 million is going to go to the United States. The rest of it is going to go, to attorney fees and things like that. And I think like $10 million was supposed to go back to the man's home country. I think it's Guinea. We'll get into that in a second. It's a little bit further down. I think it's Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial New Guinea. We'll get into it. Anyway, they went to Mauricio, said, can you sell it? Mauricio said yes. Then he said, oh, no, I can't sell it. Mind you, he's already had it on the Housewives of Beverly Hills, this grand estate. Oh, it's been sitting dormant. I can't sell it. Sells it to his business partner. Doesn't even disclose that it was his business partner who was buying it. At the very end of the sale is when he lets people know he's part of the actual purchase of this home. So you have the seller technically selling it to himself. Sound like a conflict of interest? It is. So Mauricio has always maintained that he had no text messages from 2016 on of people trying to purchase the home. What they are saying is they have now unearthed text messages that disprove what Mauricio was saying. It is getting hot in here. Mauricio maintains his innocence.
This ain't stealing.
But the attorneys and the man who wanted to purchase it.
Receipts? Do I need to bring the receipt, baby girl? Because I got receipts.
He said he got receipts, y'all. Like the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. But definitely like the video. It is a free way to support the channel. So, okay. Let's see. It says, what's more, Hickham's lawyer claims Oberville admitted to deleting the incriminating text messages, so at least some of them cannot be obtained from another party. If it turns out that Umansky also deleted messages, then Hakeem has a right to discover the circumstances involved with any such deletion and what steps Umansky's counsel undertook to recover any deleted messages. The embarrassing allegations come as Umansky deals with the heartbreaking split from his Real Housewives of Beverly Hills wife of 27 years and his much-touted appearance as a contestant of Dancing with the Stars. No, again, nobody really cares about him on Dancing with the Stars. Okay, but let's get into Teodoro, because Teodoro comes with his own craziness, like insane. But shout out to Eve for having her eye on the prize, even though the money was ill-gotten through a dictator's son. That's probably why Eve was over there in Hollywood crashing. I think she crashed an Aston Martin or a Maserati or something. She was wilding out, talking about her $10,000 boots. Now we know. I mean, but anything was an upgrade from Stevie J. So let's get into it, because this magazine online editorial kind of like cast light on this way back in 2007 and spilled all this man's tea. It says the exotic car-loving playboy, newcomer to the exclusive Cliff Malibu Pier, heir to one of the most ruthless dictators in the world, now sits behind 2 guard shacks with the likes of Dick Van Dyke, James Cameron, Larry Hagman, Mel Gibson, and other biggies. So it says his father, Equatorial Guinea's presidential Teodoro Obiang, is dying of prostate cancer. And the president's express wish, according to human rights groups, is for the younger Teodoro, to take over as president and dictator. Unless the president is deposed while on one of his many cancer treatment trips to the West, Big Teodoro's word will remain the only law in the tiny but cash-rich nation he controls with an iron hand. And his son, called Teodorin, or Little Teodoro, is believed next in line for the job. Perhaps his politically active Malibu neighbors don't know Equatorial Guinea. Not that they really care. When you have a house like this, your neighbors don't technically ever see you. And his house was the last one. Like, his house was a mansion among mansions. But again, when it's ill-gotten gains, does it really matter? They make it when you got the coins, basically. They make it when you got the coins. So let's continue. Perhaps his politically active Malibu neighbors don't know that Equatorial Guinea, one on the west coast of Africa with only 540,000 inhabitants, has neither a free press nor free speech. Its people are among the world's poorest, surviving on less than $1 a day. Yet, because of plentiful oil and natural gas, the country is the second richest in gross domestic product per capita, just behind wealthy Luxembourg. So think about it like this. You know what they say about Russia. Russia is not exactly I think it's like, let's just say it's not a wealthy country. However, it has a lot of billionaires. And that's because Putin gives himself a minuscule salary, but then hands over all of these state contracts to his best friends who are now billionaires, because that's the only way that Russian people can get, say, gas or water or electricity or state-sponsored television. Same thing here. Just probably not as widely, known. Okay. But unlike Luxembourg, no money gets to the people. The Obiang family, including little Teodoro and its closest friends, are among the world's super rich, recipients of enormous investments and various forms of tribute paid by American oil companies. Our hands are not clean in this either. According to anti-corruption organization Global Witness, Transparency International, Amnesty International, and testimony from U.S. congressional investigators, the family has funneled hundreds of millions of dollars into its own pockets. These organizations say ExxonMobil leads the pack, paying between 20% and 35% of its revenue from oil and natural gas to the Equatorial Guinea government, a corrupt and bureaucratic tangle in which Obiang family members hold more than half the ministerial post and control income from major economic sectors. Yet the 36-year-old eldest son of the dictator, who holds the job of Minister of Forestry, Minister for Chopping Down Trees, as dubbed by the New York Daily News, officially owns only $5,000 a month. Yeah, because that's not where his money comes from. Last year, when he bought the $35 million Malibu estate, the transaction was named Forbes as the 6th most expensive sale of a home in America, setting off global criticism among human rights groups. Among human rights groups about how exactly Teodorin came up with the dough. The minister for chopping down trees actually openly admits to controlling significant riches from his country's natural resources, offering this spin in a sworn statement to the South African court last year and obtained by the LA Weekly. So basically, y'all, he really doesn't care. And if he lived a more humble life, he probably could have sat on this money. But why sit on this money when you could be dating Eve, right? Or some other people. We'll get into that. Let's see. A rare mention of his arrival in Malibu appeared in a disapproving editorial in the Los Angeles Times late last year, strangely without any news or report in the rest of the paper. of the Malibu newspaper, Only the Graphic at Pepperdine University, has mentioned that the record-high home sale involves an exceedingly controversial buyer with global newsworthy dark side. They don't like that they don't like that he's now in the neighborhood. Williams criticizes well-known real estate agent Jeff Hyland, who handled the sale. Again, Hyland and Hilton. Hyland and Hilton. Let's see. I don't think that it's too much to ask realtors not to deal with dictators. We need a greater public awareness to put pressure on Washington so that the federal anti-kleptocracy, we're going to just leave that there. Initiative pushed by the Bush administration and Congress finally does as promised, prevent dictators from using funds drained from poor countries. So we'll find out later that that did happen because they forced the sale of the home and the money to be returned to where it belonged. I told y'all there's a lot of twists and turns. Let's see. Yet records show he earned 4% on the deal, which would translate to a staggering $1.4 million. That went to Hyland and Hilton. Let's see. A couple interesting more facts. They said that in New York, he wanted to buy some super fancy place on Fifth Avenue, and they would not allow him to do so. They didn't want him in the building. It says critics in other countries have focused intensive investigative efforts on little Theodore's real estate purchases. When he brought 2 luxurious homes in Cape Town, South Africa, 2 years ago, he didn't use his own name on the deeds. Of course not. Let's get into some of the interesting stuff. Okay. According to incorporation filings, Little Teodoro used the newly formed Sweetwater Mesa LLC to buy the estate and is also the owner behind Sweetwater Malibu LLC and Sweetwater Management, Inc. He started T&O Records and T&O Entertainment, T&O as in his name, producing 2 techno records in 2003. Also, he didn't feature her on his 2 albums. He dated Grammy winner and barbershop actress Eve for years, but she broke up with him amid rumors published in New York and foreign media that his father was a cannibal. What? What? Oh. Ghoulish tales told by refugees fleeing the nation. There's no proof of cannibalism, but there are plenty of rumors. I think Obiang is happy to entertain these rumors in order to keep people in fear. So let's get into some of the other stuff that we now know about him, because the twists don't stop there. Apparently, outside of Eve, Portia Williams dated him. It said, Portia Williams, divorce didn't ruin me. I'm dating a rich African dictator's son. Portia Williams isn't wanting for cash after her ex-husband. And no, we're not talking about Simon. That's where her new Rolls Royce came from. No, we're talking about Theodora. Back when she was carrying that $100,000 purse and was driving around in that Rolls Royce. Well, this is where the allegations stem from. It said, according to sources, Portia has been seeing 42-year-old Teodoro, son of President of Equatorial Guinea. His father is known as one of Africa's most brutal and corrupt rulers, not only for having his predecessor, off with his head and political opponents tortured, but for pillaging his own country's oil wealth, all while his people live in abject poverty. And his son is reaping the benefits, living like a king in Malibu and all over the world. We're told Mang, the son, has been showering Portia with expensive gifts for the last month. Louboutin shoes, Chanel, even a Rolls Royce. And Portia has been posting photos of the gifts on Instagram. Sources say the romance is pretty new, but escalating fast. Again, no, we're not talking about Simon. We're not talking about Simon. We're talking about Teodoro. Now, blast from the past. Do you guys remember the actress Tamala Jones? Well, that was her man that Portia was seeing, and she blasted Portia. It said, at Portia for real, Miss Portia Williams. Now you know you should shame the devil and tell the truth. You grew up in the church, and lying was never bleak. You may have a man, but the one you're claiming belongs to me. Check your PR or your head, but don't step on my toes. She also went on to say, I don't care about money. I care about people. Who I date is irrelevant. What I do is. Equatorial Guinea has had a bad rep for too long. I spend my time there donating to the First Lady's School for Children. I'm also planning to build a women's children health center. Nobody ever shows the positive. This country is beautiful and the people are not starving. Their public housing is better than some people's homes in the U.S. Now, Tamala, I think you putting 20 on 10. I don't believe you. I think you was trying to see the forest for the trees because this came with a really insane lifestyle. But I continue. I wish people would go see things for themselves instead of reading BS. I came at Portia to prove she was lying. They don't need any more heat on how the country's money is spent, especially when someone is lying about it. I wrote to you because you stood up for me, and I thank you for that. God bless you. Ma'am, you were just upset that Teodoro was busting them all down. That's why you was upset.
Big Bob is busting them all down.
Big Teodoro was busting them all down and spending his country's money to do it. So I told you guys it was a whole bunch of twists and turns in this. Again, my personal opinion, I don't think that his hands were clean. It's interesting that they chose to throw a Great Gatsby party with the house that was allegedly ill-gotten gains. Very similar to Great Gatsby. Very beautiful, but again, similar to Great Gatsby. Like the video because we are only halfway through. We are about to get into DJ Envy. But if you want a closer look at Teodoro or he's your type, this is him. Now, I don't quite know what's going on with his hair. It looks like maybe at some point it was permed and then gelled down, but I don't know. The ladies seem to like it. So if Teodoro is your type and you don't mind running from the government, go for it. Let's continue. So DJ Envy is in a bit of trouble due to his partnership where he has said that he's technically not really this man's partner. So I want to start off showing you this before we get into a couple of content creators who have done a really great job of breaking down the crime. But again, oh, I forgot about this. If you get to watch that episode, you will see Lisa Vanderpump eyeing this house with the side eye, saying,
insane. If he's going to sell this, I think he's going to make money.
Had he actually sold it in the way that he was supposed to, he would have made a ton of money, like Lisa said, but he was going to make more money by allegedly defrauding the government. Remember, $37 million. So it's important to say that Muaricio has always maintained his innocence. At this point, it has not gone to trial. I don't even expect it to. He might try to settle again to keep this quiet because Muaricio is now worth $100 million. The agency is the premier real estate firm across the globe. It would only make sense for him to try to keep this as quiet as possible and maintain his innocence.
This ain't stealing.
But that man, the one who wanted to allegedly buy it for $40 million when Muaricio only bought it for $32 million and then got the government to take off another $1 million saying it was in disarray. So the man was going to need to put so many millions in it. They took another $1 million off. So the man who was going to buy it, the other man who had $40 million to flip that house, has a word for Muaricio.
He stole my goddamn house!
And he is not having it. Okay, so let's get on to DJ Envy. DJ Envy basically has said that he, was not technically really in business with this man. He didn't really get any money. But let's just start off here. You'll see DJ Envy and Flipping NJ, the man who has been accused of all of this fraud.
Y'all, it's DJ Envy. Flipping NJ. What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy. Flipping NJ. Hey. What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy. Flipping NJ. DJ Envy, Flippin' NJ. What up, y'all? It's 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 DJ Envy. Flippin' NJ. Hey, what up, y'all? It's DJ Envy. Flippin' NJ.
Kind of seems like they had a relationship, right? Okay, so let's get into it. Shout out to this particular YouTuber. I will actually link his entire video so you could check it out. He did a really great job explaining every alleged crime.
Got a special guest in the building. You might know him on Instagram as Flippin' NJ. My friend Caesar Pena. 5 years later, numerous customers alleged they were defrauded by Caesar. Over the past 5 years, DJ Envy has promoted Caesar as a real estate expert and trustworthy source for learning the game. What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy. Flippin' NJ. DJ Envy and Caesar's partnership seemed innocent until Tony the Closer began receiving messages about investors giving the two money and not receiving any money back. Then the investigation began. July 21, 2018. DJ Envy posted to his Instagram about a house he purchased in Detroit. A couple of weeks ago, @KnitTheGrit introduced me to a guy named Caesar, aka Flipping NJ, that invests in New Jersey real estate.
A friend of mine, his name is KnitTheGrit. He owns the label where Fetty Wap is signed to, and he did the introduction between me and Envy.
Caesar Pena's Instagram looked like
friendship made in heaven.
This at the time. The message that Envy shared was he looks like us, listens to the same music, dresses like us, and is from the same place as us. He just had the vision of real estate before any one of us did. He owns over 500 units in New Jersey. You have a criminal record, but your criminal record actually got you into this business. This seems to be a prerequisite for being a subject of my videos.
His criminal record actually got him into the business.
As of late,
I'm more street educated than anything else. When all my friends went to college and stuff like that, chose the streets, everybody's telling me, oh, you gotta change your life, can't do this, you're gonna end up in jail. So I ended up in jail.
I'm starting to wonder if
and you might just go back.
He and Jay Morrison were roommates in prison, sharing their ideas on how to implement their street knowledge in the real estate game.
I was never thinking about public speaking or anything like that. And I met Envy. He inspired me. And he said I had a great story and I can inspire other people.
DJ Envy introduced Caesar to his millions of followers, which is why he's found himself in the middle of the controversy for what we're going to unveil shortly. What up, y'all? DJ Envy. We picked this up off of auction.com. We outbid somebody. Just a few months after this Instagram post that used the word "we" a lot, Caesar was introduced to Anthony Barone and Anthony Martini. Martini signed DJ Envy to his record label in 2016. A few years later, when DJ Envy began promoting Caesar, Martini became interested. He trusted Envy from their friendship and because Caesar sounded legit. Envy told Martini that he was a partner on many deals with Caesar that had gone well and mentioned that there was a new investment opportunity opening up to partner with them. 385-391 Totowa Avenue in Paterson, New Jersey is where an old school building rots away. Envy told Martini that this location would become a new apartment complex project spearheaded by Caesar and Jennifer Pena. Martini felt confident enough in his friend DJ Envy and this alleged real estate mogul that he invested $1 million into their project.
Started with no money, and here I am. $50 million later in real estate.
From the bottom, now I'm here.
Investors felt confident giving him money because they believed he was a real estate mogul. Caesar and Jennifer Pena told Martini that they funded the project with $2.5 million of their own money and a $3.5 million construction loan. Martini's money would help with overruns and operating expenses until the liquidation date. Around the same time, Envy and Caesar met with a man named Anthony Barone who brought his friends Eaton Sugarman, DJ Clue, and Gary V as they all indicated interest in the prospective real estate investment opportunities. Over the next 4 hours, Caesar and Envy drove around Paterson, New Jersey, showing off the successful real estate investment.
So are you guys getting this? DJ Envy has said he has nothing to do with this man, never got any money. But even if you partnered with NJ Flipping for whatever these like seminars were, that's a lot of your time to say that you're not getting any money out of this. Just my opinion. Now, DJ Envy asserts that he has nothing to do with it, but
investments they had. One of the properties shown to the group was 385-391 Totowa Avenue that was being pitched as a chance to turn this rundown school into a financially lucrative apartment complex called Taylor Court Apartments. Barone decided to invest $500,000 for a 12.5% interest stake after believing the apartment project would be a good investment. Caesar said construction would be completed a year later in early 2021. What helped Barone solidify his decision was seeing documents for the project also signed by his friend Anthony Martini to proceed with wiring his $500,000 to Caesar. A little red flag is that it's now alleged that Caesar forged Martini's signature.
We had the Jacob Javits Center setting everything up. Last time we had 4.
This story is absolutely crazy, you guys. So you have these big players who are all associated with DJ Envy. He has brought them into the mix, and they are getting defrauded one by one from a man who said, I'm street smart, not book smart, went to prison, and you're not like questioning anything that he's doing. It's just, whenever you hear, oh, I'm going to put in $500,000 and it's going to get a 30% guaranteed return. Anytime that you have an insane guaranteed return on things, question everything. There's a reason that you can't just guarantee returns like this. If it's too good to be true, chances are it's too good to be true.
1,000 in here. So if you want to learn about real estate,
federal canine officers are going to utilize scent when they go hunting for Caesar. The best way to upgrade your scent is with a subscription. Caesar promoting the idea of smell amazing and upgrade your. September 2020, Trevor Roman attends a real estate seminar hosted by DJ Envy and Caesar Pina. Roman wanted to meet one-on-one with Caesar, so he paid $2,500 for a personal coaching session, which turned into Caesar promoting the idea of partnering with him on a deal.
Now, this is interesting, guys, because they were like, oh, you know, we're going to throw these seminars and we're not going to charge people. Technically, we don't really charge people. That's not how business works. What they do is they throw the seminar. Everything is free. But if you actually want one-on-one time and anything that isn't just some basic fluff, then you have to pay money. So you're now paying this man $2,500 just to get his take on how you should be flipping houses. So it's no longer free. So I'm questioning how much DJ Envy was getting from these personal things, because you were the big name. You were the one bringing people. You were the one that had this man on the radio show, on one of the biggest radio shows. Am I to believe that you were doing this just out of the kindness of your heart? We'll find out.
A deal. On October 20, 2020, Roman signed a joint venture agreement for a property at 91 Harding Avenue in Clifton, New Jersey, where he'd contribute $100,000 and receive a 30% return within 5 months. Using my favorite software, Batch Leads, we can see that 91 Harding Avenue in Clifton, New Jersey was never purchased by Caesar or an LLC he owns. A couple months later, in January 2021, a company...
So you are technically, allegedly, telling people you have a stake in a home that this man doesn't even own. He's just picking random addresses and telling people, you give me $100,000, I'll give you a return on your investment. How do these things work? Well, if you keep getting more people, you can pay them, right? You get the $100,000, then you pay the other people that you owed. Then you use other people's money to then pay the new people who just paid you. It's definitely a Ponzi scheme.
Company titled BTC Investments LLC entered into a joint venture agreement with Caesar Pina. The property address was 27 Boyden Parkway South in Maplewood, New Jersey, where BTC would provide $150,000 to Caesar to help facilitate the purchase and rehab of the property. Caesar would return 35% profit within 3 months. In February 2021, 35%. Caesar went into a joint venture agreement with Paul Peralta for the property located at 89 Franklin Ave in Hawthorne, New Jersey. Peralta would send Caesar $100,000 and receive 30% profit within 5 months. 30%. In March 2021, Mr. Roman contacted Caesar asking for an update because the 5-month period had passed for the property to complete renovations and sell. Caesar said the property hadn't been sold and that Mr. Roman would be better rolling his money into another property investment. Caesar wired him $30,000 from his supposed profits and told him to roll over the initial $100,000 into a second property. This new investment property was 109 Lion Street in Paterson, New Jersey. At least this property was purchased by Caesar through his LLC called From Start to Flipping LLC in November 2020 for $210,000. Caesar told Trevor Roman that all he needed was an additional $50,000 and he'd receive all of his money back within 5 months with a little premium added on top. That same month, Paul Peralta entered...
So he sends the man $30,000, even though he was supposed to be sending him his $100,000 plus the 30 or 35% that he was supposed to get back. Instead, he's now convinced him to give him $50,000 more. This is horrible to do to people.
Entered into a second joint venture agreement with Caesar for the property at 566-568 East 39th Street in Paterson, New Jersey. He would send $200,000 to Caesar and profit $70,000. What I found odd about this arrangement is that 566 East 39th Street in Paterson is for an auto body shop. The apartment next door is address 568-570 East 39th Street. The address listed in the lawsuit was different than what the actual address appears to be. This happened multiple times, and I can't figure out why that happened.
He's just picking addresses, you guys. He's just picking addresses and selling people a dream.
Caesar bought this property in November 2020 and sold it in February 2022 for a $226,000 difference. May 2021, BTC Investments has patiently waited for their property to sell and recoup their investment. Caesar says, not yet, wait a little longer. June 2021, Caesar and Paul Peralta enter their third joint venture agreement for the property located at 267 6th Avenue in Paterson, New Jersey. Paul will provide $150,000 towards the purchase and rehab and receive $45,000 profit. Caesar bought this property 4 years prior in February 2017 for $245,000 and obtained a $385,000 commercial mortgage on the property in February 2018. If he had a loan that covered purchase and rehab, why was he taking $150,000 additional dollars from Paul Peralta? Around that same time, Mr. Peralta sent Caesar a final $150,000 as a private money loan for Caesar's real estate operations with the expectation that he'd receive a $45,000 profit. On August 30, 2021, Trevor Roman still had not received any updates on his property, but Caesar did send him $2,500. Caesar also told Mr. Roman that he had a new opportunity for him to roll his money into a third joint venture agreement due to the long sales process of 109 Lion Street. The third joint venture agreement credited...
At some point, you have to start questioning where your hundreds of thousands of dollars are going to. And just being attached to a celebrity is not enough.
Mr. Roman with $200,000 towards the next property, which would yield a profit of $70,000 within 5 months when sold. 109 Lion Street, the second property investment offered to Mr. Roman, eventually sold 4 months later in December 2021 for $400,000. But in January 2022, Mr. Roman had still not received any money, so Caesar offered a fourth joint venture rollover agreement for the property located at 126 Jasper Street in Paterson, New Jersey. Mr. Roman was credited with $270,000 towards the fourth property with a profit of $94,500. That meant Caesar would be sending Mr. Roman $364,500 when the Jasper Street property finished construction and sold. The only problem is that Caesars LLC sold this property in December 2020 for $390,000, which means he didn't own the property when he offered the opportunity to Mr. Roman to partner on the deal.
Are y'all hearing this? He is promising the proceeds of a house that he had sold the year before. Ponzi scheme, allegedly.
First thing I realized, and what I used to do was I used to use my own money. When I met Caesar, I realized Caesar will not use his own money. He's probably one of the cheapest people I know.
I think what Envy actually...
Sound familiar? People said the same thing about Peter. Allegedly.
means that Caesar uses other people's money for purchases outside of real estate. November 2021, Caesar notifies Barone and Martini that construction is underway for their apartment building project, even notifying them that workers are there every day and that the plumbing and foundation are done. December 2021, Stanley Acosta attended one of DJ Envy and Caesar's real estate seminars at the Javits Center in New York City. A few days later, he was in Pina's office discussing a potential partnership deal for...
Now, what's interesting about Pina's office is it's next door to Envy's. Envy is saying he has no idea what's going on. Your office is like literally right next door.
For the property at 145 Union Avenue in Paterson, New Jersey. The only data I see is on Redfin, indicating this property hasn't been sold since 2015. In March 2022, Acosta gave Caesar $150,000 in cash with a promise of $45,000 profit within 5 months. Around this time, Caesar reached out to Barone and Martini to notify them that the Taylor Court apartment project was underway for the second time, but completion would now be around November 2022. May 17, 2022, Alexis Hernandez gives Caesar $250,000 for the purchase.
And the list goes on and on and on. He defrauds this black lady who had gotten a settlement for some horrible stuff that happened to her. So she thought real estate would be her way to ensure that the money would go to her family and her unborn child. Was not the case. He was actually selling her the dream for properties that, again, he did not own and that he had told other people that they were the investors on. The list goes on and on.
It would be 149-151 Manchester Ave in Paterson, New Jersey, where she'd provide $100,000. Caesar bought this property in April 2019 for $140,000 using a request for updates, so he decided to show up to Caesar's office again. Caesar promised that the property was nearly done. It just needed another month to close, and Trevor could expect...
Trevor, the original guy, is now starting to show up to Caesar's office.
The $280,000 that was owed on that date. Amy Flips also decided to show up to Caesar's office demanding an update and threatening legal action after Caesar had cut communication. Caesar lied again, saying that the construction at the properties was nearly complete and her money would be on the way next month. Caesar also met with On-Site Properties LLC after 6 months of refusing communication. Caesar advised this victim that he should roll his investment into another property, which he did not take kindly. Also in March, Caesar met up with Hector Santana to advise him on rolling his $350,000 initial investment into the Park Avenue property other investors had already invested in. Caesar gives Hector 2 post-dated checks, one for $70,000 and another for $100,000. The first one cleared, but the second check bounced. April 2023, Caesar sends Ransom Endeavors Inc. a check for $30,000 representing...
Are y'all seeing the pattern? Are you seeing the pattern?
In his back pocket and he can't reach it. What's not a joke is the amount of victims in this investment scheme. I only know of about 20, which brings us to DJ Envy.
And we only expected like 50 people at the seminar that we did. The first one we did, it was like 1,500 people. The second one was like 2,000, then 5,000, then 10,000.
Because of DJ Envy's influence, he was able to sell out large rooms for his real estate seminars with Caesar Pina. Many of the complaints explain how they met with Caesar because of watching him on stage at the seminars.
We currently own and manage and also have projects that we're building out from the ground up of 3,000 units.
This video was filmed in June 2022, the same month a mortgage company was foreclosing on them on their primary residence.
They've been paying like $2,000, $3,000 for seminars, 5,000 seminars, and when you get to the seminar, they don't learn anything. Then to talk to people, they got to pay more money, and we tried to stop that.
It's alleged in the complaints that they did the opposite. Following the speaker presentations, members of the Pina network, including DJ Envy, set up booths at which they offered private consultations with seminar attendees. They obtained all of their contact info, and then they sized up the financial resources in order to solicit attendees with high net worths for their joint ventures, and then offering consulting services with Caesar for $1,500 to $2,500 per meeting at his office. It seems that every meeting in his office turned into a pitch for his joint ventures.
And there's also a lot of seminars out there that are trash and that people are playing off your hope. So
these events, which starts becoming a market.
Okay, so I will link all of these videos in the description of this video, but let's move on, excuse me, to DJ Envy talking to Tony the Closer. Excuse me. Who I believe DJ Envy is going to be suing. Let's see.
Exactly 3 sides of the story, right? His side, and then what's the truth. And I think before somebody...
Hold on, let's go back.
Start saying that somebody owes somebody money or somebody doing something wrong and making an accusation and an accusation, I think you need to have him on there and clear his own name up.
Well, I think that's fair, but I also...
And I tried to call you today with him on the phone, and you said you were clearly busy. So he's not...
You know we talking about, don't try to flip the narrative on me because it's bullshit. Did I not call you this morning? I'm really swing it because, like, I've been being nice and I've been trying to... You don't have to be nice. Did I not call you this morning? Tony, did I not call you? Said I called you 30 minutes.
Oh, DJ Envy's so tough.
But you know you bullshitting too, right? Because the fact of the matter is that you know that Caesar been doing bad business. And you just right now really trying to distance yourself because you don't want to be implicated with it. You know that he's been fucking people over. He fucked you over. He owes you money. You told me last night he owes you money. Like, this ain't me making up shit. This ain't me just coming out and attacking anybody. This is real people.
That's some hot tea.
Even like your man, the credit dude, that was a part of y'all whole situation, bro. He's out of 150,000. The nigga was out here talking about committing suicide. See, you can't play me like I'm the nigga that's just clout chasing and doing some bullshit. I'm really talking about people. Credit dude called me talking about he's in fear of his life. Like, he's like, yo, I'm in fear of my life, and these niggas took my money. I got 7.
Y'all, DJ Envy was not expecting this. You see how this smile has changed, and he's hiding his face. Body language says a lot.
ADMs of people that's $400,000 or $500,000, bro. Last night on the phone, you told me, yo, this nigga owe me over $500,000. Don't do me now. You're gonna try to get online and make me look like shit because then I'm gonna come back with.
This is the thing. You could come back with whatever you want.
I'm gonna come back with the
I just got off the phone with credit dude. I just got off the phone with credit dude. And credit dude told me that you were making things up. I just got off the phone with credit dude, and you said it's making things up.
Ooh, this feels like Fox Soul with Al Reynolds and Dr. Heavenly fighting.
Got off the phone with him. So obviously you are clout chasing because the main thing that you did was fuck up is you added my name.
You should do as far as like letting people know that you distance yourself though.
Okay. Definitely hit the like button. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. This was the phone call that he recorded of DJ Envy.
So this is what I just did. When I seen that message, when I seen the somebody tagged me on it, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly the message I sent to Caesar. I said, you need to fix this ASAP. I said, I gave you a platform to talk real estate and to help people. I said, the amount of calls, and I said this to him and his wife, I said, the amount of calls I received that you owe people money is crazy. I said, to the fact that lawyers reached out to me and are going to the authorities. People are telling me checks are bouncing. They're saying you're not calling people back. I said, authorities call me, ask if I want to be involved with a lawsuit. And I said, there's nothing I can do because you still owe me money. I said, love y'all to death, but I'm not looking crazy. I didn't take not a person's money, nor have I been involved with y'all taking people's money. And I beg you, when we first started the seminar, not to take anybody's money, a celebrity or nothing. I'm just telling you, if this is not fixed, this is going to be a huge problem, and I'm not being silent anymore. And I just said it like maybe 10 minutes ago. And like I said, I'm going to give him till I get back on Monday. After the break, if all the niggas that say you owe money, you don't get their money back. Because even if he owes you money, niggas sell yourself. You got properties. I can't even sit here and lie. You got properties. You got, like, it's not like he's ain't on. It's not like no Jay Morrison shit where he ain't got no properties or whatever. He got land. Sell that land. Even if you got to sell it for the low, get them niggas their money back.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it because you're a nice guy that got a lot of followers. I would be a fucking asshole. I call my accountant and I'm like, hey, look at this deal. Does this deal make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. I'm not doing it.
So
that's how it is. That's what people
I like. I like keeping it real, right? So how has your business dealings been with Caesar?
Some have been great. Some haven't been. Some have been really good and I made a lot of money, and some have been slow. And that's why I say when people...
Who are y'all believing so far? Who are y'all believing?
Invest money. Sometimes it goes like this, right? And you know this. I didn't hit with Caesar a couple of times and flip money in less than 30 days. Some of my buildings, like the school, we still got, and I haven't got my money back yet. But I know that's part of the game. But I also do know there's certain things that need to happen. Like when it comes to Caesar, we've had a conversation, and I spoke to him, and I spoke to Jet, and I told him if he does, and I asked him personally, I said, do you owe people money?
Does he owe you money?
We have an investment together that we're going to sell. He does not owe me money. We partnered up on a property. We partnered up on a property.
Does he owe you money, DJ Envy?
To school, let me tell you.
So he's not like, you hear the stuttering? The man already knows what he told him last night on the phone. While he's on live, all of a sudden, he seems reticent to say it. people are thinking that he's not really wanting to say it because Caesar, the partner, knows where the bodies are buried.
Talked offline, DJ Envy.
No, I'm gonna tell you 100%. No, I'm gonna tell you.
You can't do that, DJ Envy.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. You gonna let me speak or we not?
No, but we got. If we're gonna tell the truth, we got to tell the truth. Now,
we speaking the truth because I tell you everything. I talked to you offline.
That's what I'm saying.
I told you, me and Caesar, we bought a school. That's the only outstanding deal that we have. That school never came back, and that school is not done yet. When I spoke to Caesar today, I told him I have a problem, and he said I'm giving you your money back. That's it. So we don't have any dealings with each other. And I even told you because when we had that conversation, I called him last night. I'm like, do you owe?
That school was the building that I showed you, where he told a whole lot of people they were investing in that, and nothing is done, even I believe to present day.
Anybody money? Caesar told me no. He said there was people that we invested with that did well, and there was people that we didn't invest with that it takes a little longer. And I told him, nigga, whatever you need to do, give them people back their money. That's all it is. But when it comes to it, that's what it is. And you find somebody else that will talk to you on live in a minute to talk to you about the real, because I honestly, you
know we talked offline though. That's why I asked you the question. And it's like, we personally offline. I mean, I know you might be wanting to still not really throw your man under, but like we talked offline.
And we spoke online yesterday. That's why I was kind of upset when you put out a picture of me and Caesar and said DJ's every partner owes all this money. And I'm like, we spoke last night, and I'm telling you.
A few moments later.
Like this is when I say let's go. I'm like, what? And the thing with me is, I wish I could be like, well, that's on y'all. The nigga owe me money. And the nigga owe me half a ticket. Not 50,000. He owe me 500,000, my nigga. So think about it like this. If he owes me 500,000, a nigga that can get on the radio tomorrow and shit on him, you think he give a fuck about whoever was on your live? You see what I'm saying?
That's some hot tea.
This shit crazy. Man,
Okay. So you can't give a complete story without letting you know exactly what DJ Envy has said in response. So here we go. This is per DJ Envy's attorney.
Casey, he's a radio personality who goes by the name DJ Envy. Casey often appeared with Pena at real estate seminars, but his attorney insists he's a victim too.
And DJ Envy also gave $500,000 as an investment, which he has not received back yet.
Pena's attorney declined to be interviewed, but in a letter to the court, he complains about the tactics he says some investors are using.
So it's the investors are the problem, not him.
He writes, my clients need time to first protect their family
from threats. Your client needs time to protect the families from threats. Give the people back their money. Where did the money go, sir? I told you guys this was a crazy, crazy story. Like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and put in the comments section. We talked Mauricio. And side note, don't Mauricio look like this man? You know, all of the housewives would swoon over Mauricio. This dude looked like the guy from Transformers. I don't know his name, but y'all know his face. They could be twins. We talked about Mauricio. We talked about DJ Envy. Who do y'all believe? Who do y'all not believe? Was Mauricio's Dancing with the Stars skit a like smoke screen for what's really going on in his life? It is interesting that if you watch RHOBH, they always said, oh, we can't talk about investigations, but they definitely wanted Erica Jane to talk about her investigations when this is a $32 million lawsuit. Mauricio maintains his innocence, so all of these things are still allegations, but I will be keeping y'all posted as to what goes on. I gotta go. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.